Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel. Peter likes books, but not all books. Not all books do I like. And today, I want to talk about the worst books that I read in 2016, of which I went through, okay, so I was looking through my Goodreads. I thought I set it at 30, but I set it at 40 for 2016, and I ended up reading like 60 books. So I went through and I just wrote down like all of the books that I really did not like, almost DNF'd. I had a really hard time. I've done videos about this before, about how I have really a hard time not finishing a book. But I think one of my goals for 2017 is going to be, if I don't like a book, just putting it down and just being like, enough already. So anyway, I came up with the top 9. And it's interesting that I even finish some of these books, because I'm like looking back over the list and I'm like, those were some really bad books. Like, I can't even believe that I engaged in them. And I know a lot of you are not going to agree with me and all of that kind of stuff. And hey, listen, one of the things I love about BookTube is that we can differ on opinions. A book that I think is total shit, you guys are going to love. A book that I think is the greatest thing in the entire world, you guys are going to think is total shit. And that's awesome, isn't it? So anyway, reining in, are you ready? PP is right here, but you can't see him, he's sleeping. Okay, reining in at number 9 is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Okay, so now you guys know I am a huge Rainbow Rowell fan. I have read literally everything she has ever written, short stories in collections and all that kind of stuff. And I just was expecting so much more from Carry On. I read it and I listened to it on Audible. Neither one really was that great. It was really a slow book. I honestly was going in for the relationship, and maybe that was the problem. I wasn't really going in for the world of Simon Snow. That wasn't the part of Fangirl that I loved the most anyway, so I wasn't so taken with it. I just felt like it could have been developed so much more. I feel like there's this whole kind of spin-off thing happening in young adult right now that I don't really understand the whole, I don't understand it. I just don't. Another one of my books is going to be on here that I didn't really understand the necessity for why we needed to hear that side of it. And I thought that what Rainbow Rowell did was genius, coming up with this whole entire, fantasy world of Simon Snow. I loved that aspect of it. And I have not read the Harry Potter books. You guys know that. I'm on the second one right now. So I haven't read, maybe it would have felt differently to me if I had read the whole thing. I don't know. I will not be going back and revisiting all 50,000 hours that I invested in that book. It's such a huge book. But Carry On just wasn't my favorite. I thought the relationship could have I don't know. It could have happened faster for me, and we could have enjoyed the relationship a little bit more in the book, those kinds of things. So that was number 9. I think I ended up giving it 4 stars. It wasn't a complete, that was the problem, was that I read so many good books this year, you guys, that it was really hard to come up with books that I really didn't like. And my top 3 or 4, I really didn't like. But other than that, I was just kind of you know. Number 8 is, I know a lot of people are going to hate me for this, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. I've been meaning to read this book for over a year. I really wanted to read it before the movie came out. I have not seen the movie yet. I was so unimpressed with this book, you guys. I feel like there are authors that do it really well, and then I feel like there are authors that copy it really well. And I feel like this is a really good copy of other things that are already out there. John Green is one of my favorite authors. You guys know that. John Corey Whaley is one of my favorite authors. The kind of colloquial voice that they have of that geeky teenage boy that Jacob has in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, I felt like it was almost kind of stolen. It didn't feel original to me. If you had told me this was a John Green book, I would have believed it. And so it just didn't seem honest to me. And honestly, I talked to a lot of people, and they were like, if you didn't like the first one, don't read the last 2. So I'm not going to. It didn't make, the pictures didn't, the pictures were cool. Let's be honest, they are cool. But they didn't make that, listen, that does not make a great story, okay? What? Who? So anyway, I just was it was trite to me, you guys. I didn't feel like the characters were that interesting. In fact, I feel like the 4-minute trailer that happened to the movie was 10 times more exciting than that book. I just didn't love it. And honestly, it's interesting that it only ended up at number 8, because it was probably literally one of my least favorite reads of the year. But the story wasn't horrible. I just wasn't surprised at all. I just wasn't surprised. So anyway, Reigning in at number 7. Do I have a number 7? Did I not write down? Oh, Last Star by Rick Yancey. I am so pissed at Rick Yancey that I invested 3 books to find out absolutely nothing about that series. That series sucks, okay? I am so mad because that first star, I was like obsessed with that book. Like I loved that book so much. We watched the movie. The movie was literally maybe a 1.5 star at best. It was horrible. The girl was cute. I thought she played, Cassie really well. But other than that, I just thought the other 2, like I couldn't even track it. I couldn't even follow it. And I actually read, I watched Christine's review of the first one because I kept on I had to watch her review like twice because I was like, what did I forget? Like, what did I miss? And so I'm sitting there reading it and I'm like, I don't even, what? Anyway, I thought they were so poorly developed. I think what happened was Rick Yancey got a 3-book deal. He was like, I gotta do something with this series. I thought the series was poorly thought out. I thought it was poorly finished. There was no closure at the end. I'm not excited about any books that he puts out in the future. It was the Last Star, or the First Star, or whatever that was called, the first one. It should have been a standalone, period. Okay, reigning in at number 6, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. You guys, I was so turned off by this book. You guys know, I read it during Booktubeathon, I think. And I was really, really excited to read it. So many people had told me it was one of their favorite books. I felt like the language of the teenage boys was almost offensive. I don't know, I work with a lot of teenagers, and I have for 20 years, you guys know that. And I felt like it was somebody that kind of got the language, but was trying too hard. And it was interesting because I was watching last night, Lily C. Reed's. She's my new favorite booktuber, okay? I was watching her, it was her New Year's resolution, so I'm gonna do a video like that too, for BookTube of things she wants to read. And she was talking about, PP, you wanna make an appearance? PP said, I want to make an appearance. PP, what are you reading during 2017? He said, I am reading all literature, mostly Debbie McComber. PP, she might make an appearance on this list. So anyway, he says, I want to sit on your lap, Daddy. Okay. I was watching Lily's year that how she's gonna do different reading next year and all this kind of stuff. And one of the things that she said in there is that she really has a hard time with contemporary young adult because the girls are always these nerdy kind of girls that don't ever party, and that she feels like they're kind of slut shaming and stuff. And I was watching this, and it's I really understood what she was saying when I was like, that's so true. You don't have to have a character that comes straight out and slut shames or says that other girls, if they party, they're bad or whatever. But by never offering that point of view in a book is kind of indirectly shaming. And I was like, that's really interesting. And I thought Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl was very much like that. I thought it was misrepresented. It misrepresented a lot of teenage life. And I also thought that it was based a lot on stereotypes. And I didn't feel I don't even remember what the Dying Girl's name was now, but anyway, I thought she was boring. I was not invested in her whatsoever. So, or her story, or any of it, or the movies, or I didn't get it. I wasn't invested in it. I was so happy when it was over. So anyway, and I didn't watch the movie. I started watching the movie and I was like, this is really bad. This is really bad. I'm gonna turn on Showgirls or something. I love that movie so much. Do you guys remember Showgirls? Okay, number 5, rating in at number 5. PP's favorite is my least favorite, number 5, Dashing Through the Snow by Debbie McComber. It's not bad, you guys. So many people, when I say something about Debbie McComber, they get so mad at me. But I'm like, listen, what does she do? She only writes Christmas books. She only writes Christmas books, okay? Seriously? And they're the same romance every year. And this one is about an FBI agent and this girl on the run, and they're hooked in this car, and she's like, oh, I think he's kind of cute. Oh, do you really? Well, it's just bullshit. It's total bullshit, you guys, okay? It's $16 that you buy at Walmart because you want to get real Christmassy. Listen, buy some fucking eggnog and a box of, I don't know, sprinkled donuts. But don't waste your money on a Debbie McComber book. It's depressing. Reigning in at number 4, I can't even believe I read this. Okay, Fireworks Over Suburbia by Jack Meridew. Now listen, Jack Meridew is a gay YouTuber, and I love his channel, and I adore him, and I think he is so hilarious, and I watch him, he and his boyfriend as well. But like, this is like 3 short stories that he put out like a while ago. I think he was real young when he wrote it, so like, he should be forgiven. But it's bad. It's just really bad. It's bad, okay? Like, what was interesting was, it's like being in a creative writing class, like your freshman year, and like, you have a good idea for a story, or like you're critiquing somebody's story, and it's like they have a good idea, but like it never follows through, right? I don't know. Like, has anybody ever given you, and they're like, will you read my book idea? And then you read it, and it's like, so, like, this girl and guy are, like, in this art class, and, you know, I don't know, and, like, he's blind, and so she talks him through and explains things to him, and then all of a sudden he sprouts wings and becomes a pterodactyl, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, that's how that short story felt like to me. I don't know. So, okay, reining in at number... Please hold. Number 3... I can't even believe I put this at number 3. Another Day by David Levithan. Okay, this is when one of your favorite authors totally devastates you with some shit book that they put out. I love David Levithan. I love everything he puts out. I adore the man as a writer. I think he's sexy down as a writer. But I did not need to hear the other side of every day. It was so boring to me. It was so trite. And I thought... And I was reading like this, or I saw this interview or something, and it was like, why did you write this book? And he was like, well, they were asking me to like write an intro or something to this book, and I wrote it from her point of view, and I was like, yeah, we didn't need that. We didn't need a whole other book describing what happened. It wasn't even interesting. It was boring. Don't read it. It'll depress you about the whole story together. And that's what's so interesting with like duologies, where it's like you have a standalone that should be a standalone. It shouldn't be a duology. And sometimes, okay, like for example, like people will totally disagree with me that this is a duology, but To Kill a Mockingbird and Go Set a Watchman to me is totally the way a duology should be done, okay? And I know that Harper Lee did not mean that for that to be a duology. We'll never know, but unless she wrote journals about it, which maybe those will be released. God, I would love that. But anyway, I mean, it's not meant to be a duology, but it works very well together as a duology, right? Like, this doesn't work together as a duology. Like, the second book almost ruins the first book for me. Take that back. I didn't love Invisibility by him either. I thought that was crap. Okay, number 2, you guys know I hated this book. This Is Where It Ends by Mary Kay Nigchamp. And if you guys want to go watch I don't even know how to pronounce her name, Nidge Camp, go. I cannot believe this book is like getting awards and is like on Barnes & Noble. You guys, it's dangerous. Like, this book is like so based in stereotypes and generalizations about a school shooting. I'm like, seriously? Like, I was so turned off by this book. I just was so turned off by this book. I cannot believe it is getting the praise that it's getting. I do not understand it, okay? And I do feel like that's a little bit like we're sometimes as booktubers and book reviewers that we like jump on this bandwagon that because everybody likes a book, we have to say it's good. That's bullshit. Stand up for your opinion. Stand up and say, I don't like this book. This book is crap. That book is crap. I want my money back, and I think it shouldn't be. I don't know. I don't. Okay, and number 1. I mean, I can't even. Do you guys want to know? I mean, I have talked about this book so much on here. My number 1 worst book of 2016, hands down, I won't even get into my discussion about it, was The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. But I will tell you this. I sent a message and I tweeted Book of the Month Club, and I told them, I cannot believe this is on your pick list for top 5 of the year. This is the worst drivel I've ever read in my entire life. And they tweeted me back, and they're like, we appreciate your opinion. I was like, yeah, you know what you can do with your opinion? Anyway, that book was crap. That book was the worst mystery I've ever read in my entire life, hands down. Worse than a Goosebumps book, worse than anything. R.L. Stine and his Goosebumps books are 10 times better than that Woman in Cabin 10. Who'd care? Don't know. It was horrible. I had the whole thing figured out years in advance, and I was like, why am I even finishing this book? Anyway, I hope 2017 is a lot better, because I can tell you, if it's not, I'm not going to finish those books. I'm just going to not. I'm not. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I'm going to do my best of 2016 too, which is going to be hard, because I have like literally like 20 books that are my favorite. So what were some of your worst for 2016? Put it in the comment section below. I would love to know. You guys, I'm back to making daily videos on BookTube. I love you guys so much. I'm so proud to be part of this community. I think it's so awesome. And I am going to link Dylan's channel. Dylan is a guy that he sent me Cinder, and he's just a really cool teenager, and he loves to read, and he is really trying to build his channel. He just started it. I encouraged him to start a channel, and he was like, no, I'm not ready. And then out of the blue, I saw he started a channel. He's doing his first readathon that he started with 2 other people in February. So I'm going to link his channel below. I think it's called Dylan Reads. Please go follow his channel and subscribe. He is an awesome guy. I love him so much. And he is like another one of my BookTube little brothers. He has just such great insight into books, and he's just the coolest dude in the world. So please go follow him and come back for more. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.